Let me see. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
We
okay,
can.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are in of course SharePoint, right? We go to district resources, we go to curriculum, and then in the elementary school folders, we have everything there. This is everything that we have, right? The texting to STAR resource would be right here. I went ahead and put it in. I had already shared the OneDrive link with you all, but it's also here in case it gets lost in all your 20 million OneDrive folders. It's also here for you. This is what we want to share. These campus support schedules and calendars, not sure if you all have seen this, but we did create some schedules, a campus support daily schedule that is a suggested daily schedule of what should be happening at your campus right now. Yes, our focus is reading and math, but of course science in third, fourth, fifth, in third and fourth, also science, we put it in here. So this is just a little suggested what should be happening. 90 minutes of reading, 90 minutes of math. This is your Sharon Wells. This is your main curriculum that we're still kind of focusing. Sharon Wells, we should already be towards the end. We should be in the review and assessment part, and then your reviews begin on the 18th. So the reviews are still going to be part of this 90 minutes. Then we have science for 60 minutes, computers for 40, kids go to lunch, and then maybe sometime in the afternoon you're doing your targeted skills. That's an extra block of reading and math that you're doing. So that extra reading block, reading and math block, these are some of the resources that you could be getting. For reading, I think they've already kind of gone over it, but for math, the texting to STAR and the STAR release practice problems. Cambium, they can also do some of that online practice. For fifth grade, it looks a little different because we do have that science content and the science lab. And I'll let Coco kind of go over that time and treatment there. She'll talk about that once we get to her part. But yes, 60 minutes of content and lab because they should be doing a content and a lab in fifth grade. Same thing for math. So this is something we did put here. We also created the calendars. We have a third grade, fourth grade, and a fifth grade. I'm gonna share. I'll just go over the third grade to show you what it looks like. March is done, so we're here in April. So here in April, we didn't put exactly what the targeted skills are. You all already have what your targeted skills, and you might have a calendar that's already created at your campus. You've probably already done one, but we just wanted one that had everything in the same place, like the poetry, things, the reading stuff that you've already gone over. Everything is here linked where you can click. And then here are the math reviews that you will begin on April 18th. There's nothing on the 11th yet because they're still doing, like I said, Sharon Wells, they're still doing the review and assessment. But the TS, this is your targeted skill that you would write in there according to your data. Once you've looked at your data, you went through your item analysis, your level of concern. These are my targeted skills. You would write them in, which you all probably already have plugged into some kind of a calendar. But here, we wanted to put those links. So if you click here on this Math Review 1 link, it would take you straight to what the Sharon Wells review is. And the students will have copies of this. They don't come in until next week, but they will have them. Okay, so these calendars are here. They're linked. It'll tell you there. The reviews begin on the 18th, and it is one review per day. There's 15 of them. They start on the 18th and they finish on May the 6th. So they're plotted out here for you already. So you know that your 90 minutes of math should be those reviews. Now, teachers will be going to trainings on this week, the 13th and the 14th, to kind of know how to use those reviews. So we want to make sure that you know that when you walk into your teachers' classrooms, you see this. Their STAR reviews should be color coded, and this is exactly the training that they're going to get when they go to Sharon Wells. They can already begin doing this if they wanted to. The answer keys are already in the teacher editions that have been uploaded to the math folder. And I only color coded like this first one, just to give you an example of what you should see when the teachers come back from those trainings. Before the 18th, when they start on the 18th, the reviews are done this way. They have to be color coded in 3 colors because they're kind of doing a medium, high, and low SCs. It is a mix of SCs that you're doing the problem. So you don't want to just go, let's do number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, all down the road. You want to go over, the teacher should be doing the ones in pink or in red. The teacher should be doing those because that means those were some of your low SCs that needed reteaching. Your yellow, that means the kids scored okay. They're not too bad. So they can maybe work on those problems in pairs. And then the greens, they can actually do them on their own because they scored very well on those SCs. So that's kind of how the color coding is going to be done. And they're going to show the teachers how to do this. Some of your teachers already know how to do this because they've been going to Sharon Wells forever. And it's the same process that they do. But just, making sure that when you walk into those classrooms during those days and they're doing the reviews, this is what you should see somewhere on their desk or somewhere with them. They should have those color-coded reviews. Okay. So going back to the calendars, 5th grade also we have 4th grade looks very similar, and 5th grade actually this one has your science links that Coco will go over in a little while once I'm done. But she'll go over the links here of what your science content should be doing, what your science lab will be doing, and she'll explain those. And the math reviews are here too. And then the reading is also. So we kind of just wanted to have one place to house everything in for reading, for math, for science in one calendar. Again, you all can use your calendars. Your calendars might be more specific, more targeted. Your principals could have done that, but just wanted to give you this resource to have it, or just to share it with you to tell you that everything is here. Going back to that schedule, that it said, like during those targeted skills, the STAR reviews that are in the STAR release practice problems where they're at, they are also on SharePoint in here. So this one's we shared with the principals. Not sure if it got to you all, but wanted to make sure they are right here. The 2022 math updated STAR questions, 3rd through 5th. This is the folder that the teachers would click. So they click in here, and you have 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, and then a document that has low, high SCs. This document, that it's just a list of SCs that are trend data. Like in trend data, normally these readiness TEKS are the ones that are high level. Okay. That means they're harder. These are more of your harder SCs, and these are more of your lower to medium that the kids have done well on. The same thing with the supporting. You all heard Ms. Gonzalez say, which ones do we focus on more? Make sure you do focus more on those readiness. You don't want to do a whole, your calendar, your targeted SCs should have more of the readiness than the supporting. You might have 2 days of 3-4A, and then maybe 1 day that you're reviewing 3-3G. So when you're looking at those plans, make sure that when you look at those SCs, that not all of your targeted SCs should not be supporting. There should be more of those readiness TEKS that the teachers are actually like reviewing in the classroom. So it has to be targeted, exactly what she said. Make sure that you look at these SCs rather than the supporting. Not to say supporting don't count, of course they do, but this might help you to make sure that you have a very, very strategic month plan for April and that week of May. So then, okay, so I say, yes, I know that I'm going to do 3-2A. So when you go here, and I put them in there in Word and in PDF. You can click on either one. Word, if you wanted to mess around with it and add something else. PDF it's a standalone. But basically, these documents have all of the STAR release questions from 2015 to 2021. We're done benchmarking. They can definitely start reviewing all the questions. So if you keep scrolling down, all of them are here. But click over here on the left, to the left-hand side. If you click here on this second little button on the side when that opens, you do have them all in a list here. They're bookmarked, basically. So you don't want to be scrolling down that whole document to look for 3-8A. You just click on this, the bookmarks over here on the side. You click on 3.8a, and here are all my questions for 3.8a. So this just kind of helps you get to that place faster. And again, if they're in green, the SC is highlighted in green, that means it's a readiness. If the SC was highlighted in yellow, like 3.8b, that means it's a supporting standard. So these are the questions. There will be, of course, more questions for the green, as you can see in 3.8a. Let me go back to 3.8a. There's going to be a bunch of these questions that they do. Why? Because their readiness, they are tested every year, and we know for sure they're going to see it again this year. Now, 3.8b is yellow. It was seen in 2021. It was seen in 2018. It was seen in 2017 and 16, but not in some other years. So it just depends. Remember, your supporting standards might be tested this year, might not be tested in a certain year. So here is this. You can, if you know that you have 3.4I, any of these that are on your, you can use these questions to definitely review that with your students. Again, yellow would not have that many. The green will have more questions to go over, at least 2 or 3 for every grade level. So this is, again, what, like, the best thing, of course, to give them release items, to go over with them. But of course, you have other resources. You have Texting to STAR that you can get questions from. You have Chemical. You have a lot of other resources at your campus. Just what we want to make sure is that your plan, your calendar is very strategic and purposeful to your data, to exactly what your students are going to be doing in class. I think that's all I have for math. These are the 2 main resources. Like I said, the math updated STAR questions, the Texting to STAR, which is here, and then those support schedules and calendars that have your reviews. Now, in the math folder for the 6 weeks, any grade level, well, 3rd, 4th, 5th, I already uploaded the 6 weeks TEs that have everything for the reviews. Your teachers will be going to that training, but if you click on the 5th grade English TE, you will have already what they should be doing for the 6 weeks. But if you get towards the bottom, at the very, very bottom is where the reviews are going to be.
Okay, for the Spanish poetry and information. I leave it like that? Or do I delete a question to just make it?
It's not clicking here. It doesn't want to go here. It'll be at the very, very back. I don't know why. Go here. There. Right here, the STAR benchmark and the reviews, the teacher pages, everything will be here. And this is where they will see those reviews that I just talked about. There is an assessment. There's an extra assessment that the students can use in 3rd, 4th, 5th, an extra benchmark that she creates that you can give, or you can use the problems. There's 36 problems. Break them up if you need extra problems. However you all want to use that, we don't use it at all. There's no more benchmarking or anything. And then here are those review pages that the teachers will highlight and color code to be able to teach those effectively.
So about what? The activities?
Okay, so any questions on math?
Grandma has fun.
Are we good?
Are we good?
Yes? Okay, so then Coco, do you want to go over your stuff for science?
Yes, Patty.
Ms. Coco, real quick. I'm sorry. So sorry. Thank you, Ms. Patty, for the information. I will tell you, we do really need to take advantage of that, of course, the Sharon was trained, the STAR items, but also the STAR items that she put on there. I mean, they're really neat. I mean, you can identify them by TEK. So we really need to make sure we're spiraling those into the instruction and modeling them, not just giving it to them like, here, do it, but actually showing, going through how is it that we're supposed to work them out, using them for your tutoring, using them for, like, you can just, there's a lot that, I mean, but really that STAR formatted item is sometimes the best one, right? Because that's what the test is going to look like more than likely. Before we go on, I just wanted to, I know that the calendar shows some of the reading there. We did share with you a calendar that was a little bit different. I mean, again, we just kind of gave you a guide. We didn't tell you this is exactly how it is, but you can take from there based on the genres whatever you need. So just know that you can take whatever you need from there. Okay, so Ms. Coco, you want to continue? Thank you so much, Ms. Patty.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I have rights to share. Yes, okay.
Yes, you do.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. I know our time is precious. So going back to the district resources,
Here,
to curriculum,
do we get the stuff for the bash?
For the what?
let me get to the elementary.
But he already put
Okay.
something
And I'm gonna go back
It's gonna
to,
change.
Why?
Because some teachers.
What was it,
like,
Patty, the
wasn't
calendar?
coordinating with the amount of students. they have.
Miss, you can make it
Is that
bigger.
the amount with teachers? So Brenda was saying
I don't know.
more
Can I, Patty?
students than this. So it's not
This is
coordinated.
the number she gave me.
let me see, hold
yes.
on. I have to get to the calendar so I can
Oh, yeah.
show it, Patty.
So
But
this
as
is
Which one
changing.
minus?
Most
It's
of
because
them
I-
where's the
Mhm.
Unless-
campus
I-
schedules and calendar?
Which schedules and calendars?
Okay. Right here.
But only
Mr. Avila, you let me know once I go to it if you're able to see it.
Teachers are included here.
The final fifth grade
Yeah,
RLA,
within
math,
there, so it's
and
gonna be
science countdown to
September
start.
should- This is
Have
the
I
amount
paid
of
for
students.
mine?
And this is the one Patty was sharing with you
This
guys
is,
a little while
Those
ago.
are the amount of students. she
Now,
gave me.
the
Enrollment.
countdown to start. Are
Enrollment.
you able to see it, Mr. Avila?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. They're paying for.
Yes, ma'am. I got my magnifying glass out.
All right, good,
Yeah.
good. Okay,
The
so
balance-
the countdown to start
I'm
starts
sorry,
next
Mama.
Monday.
the balance
So
is
this
gonna
was
be
the last
57
week of
staff.
teaching the timeline, the fifth 6 weeks.
Correct.
Now we're
For
gonna
staff
start
members,
with
that's the
category
balance.
1, 2,
That's
3,
the
and 4.
difference.
That's why I know there's 4 more
Because
weeks
I
till
took
the
the
test,
distance from
because
here,
next week we start with
and what they have
category
is
1.
280
Now, the science
shirts.
content teacher, everything's
Which
linked
is
on here,
57
but your
times
your
six.
your content teacher and
No.
your lab teacher already
is
have their
changing.
Google
No,
lesson
stop.
plans downloaded.
Like
So
they're-
this is
they're
just an
missing
extra
students
step
here.
if they
So
wanted
this
to
is-
have it
so
all
this
in
is
one
good.
place.
Yeah, sabe, Mario?
It forces a copy and then they have the review.
Okay,
These
so I'll
are the
keep this until
2017 to
They'll probably
2019
send me
STAR
one.
release
Okay.
questions. So that's why we put it all together to get ready for the STAR so that we would be able to target the areas that we need to strengthen. Now, if you look at your data from DMAC for category 1, what were the areas of concern? Which were the TEKs that you were needing more support in? So readiness standard 5.5A, and then it breaks it down. You do the UCHIA, the strategy that we use in science, and right here, you have the question, and the kids have the opportunity to type in here to highlight what is it that they're highlighting, and then their answer choice. What is the correct answer choice? All of these questions, please ensure that the teacher's not giving it to the student. This is still, they have to teach how to do it on the test. So they have to underline, highlight, and I know, I think it's Kick, that app or site where they're able to access all those tools and do it on here. They underline the question, circle the important information, and if they could even add a text, like a text box here. And what I'm thinking is when they do this, what are the key words? Students have to be able to do that. What are the key words? An illustration. And they have to write down the question. So something that the training at 40 Ferry, or something that he said was very interesting. The students, it's okay if they read the question and then write the question. That way they've not only seen it, but written it down or typed it, and they're able to remember it. So they would take the physical, right? They would write it out. Now, this is one way to do it. Another way, and I want to say, well, let me go through this and then I'll show you another way. But these are the questions that are for category 1 for the teacher with the student, and the teacher has to do this all guided with them. Maybe do the first, ¿cuántas son? 1, 2, 3, maybe the first 4 with them, and let them do the next 2. And that's why we included the classroom talk, discussion, and the exit ticket to formatively assess if the student got the concept for the day, for that TEK. Now, it's every day, right? That was for day 1. And then on the calendar, you go to day 2, countdown to, and so forth. So all of from the 11th through the 14th is category 1. 18th to the 22nd, category 2, and the 25th to the 29th, category 4. And on the Monday, before we start our test, no, category 4 here, sorry. On this Monday, we have science content in lab. It's a review of everything that the kids have learned up to this point. A STAR review. And the teacher here already knows, okay, what did they not master? Which one should we review? And they're able to do forms of energy, force and motion, electricity, electrical energy, or category 3 or category 4. But they're all games to support where the student still needs more help. Now, this is the links from the calendar. Let me go back and show you the science right here. And this is what your teachers already have downloaded for their Google Classrooms. The Fit 6 weeks, lesson plans. Now, right here, your scope and sequence. This is a very important document. I don't know that teachers realize that the scope and sequence is their guide.
The batter feels against the pan.
So for the last week, which is week 7, this is next week. Here we've added the new vocabulary words that students are being introduced to. These are the ones that have been in the past, but these are the new ones. So for week 7, April 11th through the 15th, this is all the TEKS that we're targeting, okay? And this is in the scope and sequence. And there's one provided for each 6 weeks, so the teachers know where they're at. But in the lesson plan,
you put the taste.
which is what they already have,
Oh.
you go all the way to week
Sounds is
7.
part of the
That's
story.
where they should be right
And
now
answers
for
is.
next
So you
week.
can't put sounds
And you have your
of the poem. Sorry.
what I just shared with you.
It's
So they do not have to make a copy of that calendar. They just need to know that it's aligned with what they have in their curriculum. So week 7, day 3 review, it's still category 1, and this one is a supporting standard.
And you begin to think of the things.
But it's got the questions again. Make sure that they're doing it with the students, maybe the first 3 or 4, and then let the students do the last 2. But make sure that they're checking that they're doing all of their strategies. Okay, so this is going to happen for the 4 weeks up until the test. What I want to share with you now is that they can add some of the resources. Once the teachers have forced a copy to their desktop, they can add to that resource because it's theirs. Now they own that copy. So right here, if you go back to where I went into the curriculum, this is the science. If you go down here where it says Science Update STAR 5th Grade Review Questions 2018-2021. This is a great tool, the Data Analysis Answer Key. What I did is I went ahead and compiled, I got it from Lead Forward. I compiled all the questions from 2018 to 2019 by categories. So category 1, physical properties of matter, 5.5. This is all 5.5A. These are all the questions that have been asked under this TEK. Now, I gave you how the state did, how the district did. What I'd like for you guys to do with your content teachers and the lab teachers is how did you guys do on benchmark 2 and put the answers here and compare it to how the district did last year and the state. Now, these have the answers on them, but you see right here says 2021 question 4 for 5.5A. 2021 question 16 was the same TEK. 2021, so you have 2019, 2019. This is all the ways it's been tested and the different ways it's been tested and the way the question is worded.
Color, sound, taste.
So, and then you go to the next TEK. Still category 1, but now it's 5.5B. Now, what's really neat about this is once you do the 2021, you're not going to do the 2018, 2019. I would focus just on the 2019 if you were going to, the 2021 data to look at it if that's what you wanted to do. Now, if you come back here and go to the Science English STAR Review, This is the one without the graph or the little table. This one you can print and intentionally use with the students. This could be in small groups. Now that you're going over the categories and you already know, you know what, our students or our school, we need to work harder on category 4 or category 3. Well, if you go here to the tab, it's going to show you categories, but it's also going to show you the readiness standards. These are the ones I highly recommend that you focus on because 60 to 65% of our science test is readiness standards. 22 to 24 questions are asked just on our readiness standards. So let's say at category 2, our students are doing so good on 5.6b. I can click on that tab and it will give me only the questions with that tick. And I can print those out. And these are the ones I'm saying, like if you wanted to snip them and add them to the categories that have already been provided in our curriculum, that teachers can do that as well. That way they know that they're targeting all the ways it's been tested. Okay, and then you go down here, you also category 4 organisms and environment, 5.9b, again, 2021, food chains and food webs. The students need to know what the chain is, what the web is, where the energy comes from, how it flows. So these are a lot of examples, or the up to the 2018 on how it's been tested. So these are great reviews. Again, do let the teachers make sure that they're doing it with them. Do 2 or 3 with them, and then let them do some independently. But these are great resources for the students to be using. Now, I have them in English and Spanish as well here.
The texture of the dripping bowls.
Something I did want to go over, when you go here to the
It's
science,
just not telling you.
and I know I shared this with a lot of the
Unless we do
campuses,
another design,
everybody, I
it doesn't
believe.
have to be the texture.
If you go here, you
Or
see
another
here where
page
it
with the texture.
says,
The taste of the wooden spoon.
this countdown.
You're not gonna eat the spoon.
And spoon she lets you look.
You're not gonna eat the spoon.
This one,
You're not
5th grade
tasting the spoon,
science
you're
weekly
tasting the batter
assessment
on the
tracking template. This is a template you guys should have been using since the beginning for each 6 weeks. 5th grade, first 6 weeks, second 6 weeks, third, fourth, fifth. Now, if you have not used this, if this is not a tool that you were using, I highly recommend that you share this with your teachers and download it and make a copy and put countdown to star. And here you could put benchmark 1, benchmark 2, and then category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4. How are this? Keep a track of how the students are doing now. And what are the, like if they do the test every Friday, they will have a test on each of the categories. So how did they do, and are they ready for category 1? So this is how you can keep, and what I like about this is Patty had already did the formula. So whatever you put, it'll give you a percentage down here of how the students did. This is already calculated. So I think this is a great tool to have now to make sure that the students are where they need to be. The count reviews by category.
Now, taste.
Something else I was going to share with you. Let me come here. Now, I'm going to put this one in the
That's what I
in
said.
the
I was
chat.
like, is it taste?
But these are the readiness standards that we need to target.
You know what I mean? But it did
Let's
say
see.
taste.
Okay. So I could say the
So when I'm talking about the readiness standards, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, I can't make it
And
bigger.
color texture.
But 5.5A,
Cool,
5.6A,
because
these are the ones that are tested 60 to 65% on the test. So I will add this to the chat so you guys can have this, but your lab teachers have all this information. They also have the STAR Penguin, Science Penguin.
She really loves that one.
This is one of the best resources that we've had. A lot of your teachers are already using them.
we
But-
need to finish this one.
Very intentional. Let me see. Let me go to natural resources, vocabulary task cards. Your science lab teacher, Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. Garza, and Mrs. Bazan bought this resource for all of the campuses. So all of you have this. But I want to share natural resources.
The sound
These
is
are
about-
all the vocabulary or the terms used in this category.
That's a no, right?
And then it shows them. these are games that
Yeah,
kids
'cause
can
they
be
can't
doing
do it.
already. Do they know the vocabulary? These are can be in groups. This can be a quiz after you reviewed all of the vocabulary. But these are great resources to know if your students understand the words. What's oil, natural gas, minerals, coal. But they should be able. The teachers can use these. These are great tools or resources. They have the properties of matter, test prep. I know some of my science lab teachers said they're using these for tutoring. These are, again, amazing. And they have it on Google Forms so the teachers can upload it or they can print them, whatever's best. The table lists some properties of 4 objects, object 1, 2, 3, 4. Based on their properties, which of the objects is most likely iron? So they underline, what are they talking about? Circle properties, objects, iron. Those are key words. Now, I don't have it on here, but I do want to show you. I was at one of the campuses and something that they had, well, let me see. So these are all the resources that are here on Science Penguin. There's about 44 files that your content teacher has to get together with the lab teacher. Now, the recommendation is that the content teacher have a pen drive, and that's how she can get these files from the lab teacher, because the lab teacher is the one that has the license to use these materials. But if she downloaded it to her desktop, the content teachers can use a pen drive to save these files to their so they can have them. Okay. I wanted to show. I don't have it. I'm creating one of the graphs, but one of the campuses had something like this, and I don't know if everybody can see this. I'm gonna see. This was Longoria. Laura, thank you so much. It's been very helpful for a lot of the students. What they did is they drew a chart with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 boxes, and what she has them do is write key vocabulary with an illustration or anything that the student understands from the question should be written down somewhere, so they're processing what's happening in the question. But every student should be expected to have this for each of their questions. Students can have the day of the test scratch sheet of paper where they're writing this down, but that's a practice they have to already be doing. Now, clarify if I'm wrong, Laura, but one of the students, I believe this was one of the lowest, a student had not performed very high, had a 40-something, but once she was able to do all these strategies, went up into the high 80s. So she was very successful. So our students have to be able to have this, but the lab teacher and the content teacher are responsible to ensuring that this is happening. They have to, okay, mijita, show me. You know, and I remember being in the class and the students would say, do I have to do all my strategies, Miss? And I would say, if you get an 85 or higher, no. But if you're still not at an 85, yes. So everybody was required to turn one in. But if the teachers are not, if that's not the expectation, well, the student's not going to do it. So I went ahead, based on what Ms. Ornella shared with me, I went ahead and created kind of like a graphic organizer, very similar to this, so that I can share with you all. I'll put it on the chat as well, just like the math chart graph paper that the students use, very similar to that. It doesn't have any words, it doesn't have any numbers, it just has the lines. Now, something that's very crucial too, I believe, is when the student writes the answer, they put the answer on the outside in the little box. Now, this isn't a paper test, but you know when the students submit their questions, their answers, that gives it to them in a list, this is where they can do that finger check. Like number 1, did I put D? Number 2, did I put B? Before they submit. That way they know that they didn't make a mistake on the answer document. Does that make sense?
Coco,
Andy.
the reading and the math teacher are also using that grid here at Longoria.
And some of the campuses they are. So I highly, if they're not, then you do start doing that, especially for the countdown to start. Yeah, we're like at that line, right? We got to jump, and everybody has to jump with us because we have to keep going. So I don't know if you have any other questions or any questions.
No,
Ms.
I believe
Coco?
that's a very good practice, and I've seen that, whether they do it in fourths or six or eights, that the kids are actually writing down their work, showing their work on a scratch paper. They have to. There's no way. They should be doing that.
I
Perfect.
appreciate your grandma.
Ms. Coco, and you said you're gonna provide them with a copy of it or a sample?
Can
Yes,
see
I
this
can
one?
upload the one I created, but and I'll show. Laura, is that okay? Can I share that with I'm gonna share it with everybody so you can see what that student. But that's the expectation, right? That they do everything and that the teacher's checking it.
Like dying.
This is another folder from Science Penguin. I've been to several campuses this
And then
week
there
and
are
last
stories
week,
that she tells
and a
you
lot
at
of the
night.
lab
Yes, that
teachers
doesn't
have
show
already
your
created
picture,
these.
right?
I think Mr. Avila, he had them created color coded, which I thought was a great idea. So the folder that the student is using with all of the, from now, right? It's category 1, category 2, category 3, and category 4. This is kind of like their little Bible, right? Like their little anchor chart.
What about,
So every time they're working, they take it out and they go back and maybe I missed something. I don't understand something. They have it at the palm of their hands. And they should be writing everything in their journal as well. What I've seen a lot of the lab teachers, and it's awesome, they're putting one problem at a time on the board. And they're writing, circling, highlighting, modeling what this note should look like. So when the student's doing it, they already, oh, okay, I'm missing this, or I forgot this, but I think it's a great resource.
The only thing that I want to just say also is we're already in that review time. And yes, we want the teachers to model, but we really should be seeing the students doing everything now.
And Patty, I want to say for the science, because our scores are so low in the science, some of the kids are still not there, and because a lot of things out of our control happen. And so we fell back. And so a lot of our teachers are not on that timeline. So I'm saying model what that should look like so they can start independently, or the day of the test on Friday. Yeah, they're on their own. But the teacher's still going to pick up those notes on the day of the test and say, Mira, you got number 1 wrong, but you didn't put anything on here. So when they're doing the test, the teacher has to pick up these notes. Even it's on Google Form. They have to have these notes with them so you know if they got it or not. I don't know if you want to add anything, Ms. Ornelas, but this was really good, and the way your students were doing it and the way you're doing it in the classroom, you can see your kids picking it up.
It's a struggle, but they've been working on it. And I know Paulina was very proud of that grade. But yeah, she did her strategies, and it's just about drawing. They're putting down their thinking in their illustration and their keywords, and it's helped my students so far. Because a computer-based test, it's difficult.
It's hard.
And ultimately, our science test is a reading test, and so.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you guys. If you have any questions, you need anything, please let me know, and I'll be happy to come by and stop at your campus also.
Yes, thank you so much to Ms. Patty and Ms. Coco for sharing this information. And we are going to be sharing anything else that we can think of. We'll be sharing in this chat, and that way you all have this chat available to you all. If you have anything also, now, I don't want to make it sound, because when I start even saying that or hearing like we have a lot, it's a little scary, because that we can also get lost in too much, right? So we have to be very, very intentional. And that's why we said, for one thing for sure, is yes, we can look at our scores and see in benchmark 2, where was it that we were struggling, especially in math, science also. But like I said, even like Ms. Coco was saying, our science nowhere in the district was that great. I'm going to say, openly, here we all know it. So because of that, then we have to step back and strategize and say, okay, what's the best way to approach this if our kids are already struggling with this, our science? And I will say, again, just a recommendation is that we are targeting, yes, that we're continuing it. We haven't finished the timeline, right? Because we need to make sure that they've covered everything, but really right now start honing in on what is critical, like what the readiness standards. If you do the categories the way the timeline has them, you have 4 weeks, you have 4 categories, but so you're focusing 1 week to, really, really well. Then the other one, then the what is it, earth, and then life, and just really, really hone in on that. But then you need to have like within that time, and I know you don't have a lot of time, but if you can, you need to spiral in just everything. Like in other words, you might not spiral in what's in that category. You might spiral in from other categories, but it's okay. And that's where again that star release items that both Patty and Ms. Coco showed you. It's critical that they're seeing the way it's tested. You know, we were. I think about a book, Leveraging Leadership, that we read here. There was our book study here at the central office. And it talks about the way the students have to see the way, like you have to think of the test in mind, like what is the test going to be like? We do have to expose the students to at least the organization, the structure of the test in order to have success. So the children right now at this point need to start seeing, you're doing double, and we understand and we thank you for that and we commend you because we know our children are behind in a lot. So right now it's not just about, okay, now let me go into the structure of the test so you can kind of see the way it's tested. We're doing double, we're doing that, but along with that, we're also reteaching the concepts that they didn't get. So again, look at those items that are tested the most, look at the star resources that they gave you, and look at which ones are tested the most, like circuits, like, you know, there's some of those that, if you know circuits is going to be tested 2-3 times, because that's what I've seen in the past, then you know what, you better make sure that your children really understand that one, that they master it. You know, sometimes doing too much, you don't hit anything. So you have to hone in on which are those critical ones that I want to make sure my kids understand. The Science Penguin, I know it's a lot of really great information, but again, hone in on what is it that, you know, is tested the most. What are the skills? Don't forget the games. I know that Ms. Coco went over some games and they were really neat. You know, our kids need to break out of not just, you know, seeing star formatted questions. I don't know, Coco, if this is okay, but I'm thinking, like, I know she put them, I think, on the Monday before the test, but I would suggest that you start doing them now. I would. Even if the children see them 1,000 times, you know what, it's okay. I'm sure the child would rather do that than sit down and do a star question, you know, 10 times, 100 times more.
And some of them, Ms. Gonzalez, I want to say my curriculum writers did an awesome job. Some of them are like a fly swatter, where the kids get up and are able to hit and be able to do that game, and the Jeopardy and the Kahoot. They're all in that Monday. And definitely, like for category 1, when you're done, maybe that Monday you can play that game that's already for that week. Yes.
Yeah, do like a little, you know what, we're going to do this, and then whatever, like bring in those games, bring them in for your tutoring, you know, like I said, I know you don't have a lot of time with the kids, but within that time you say, you know what, so much I'm going to do for this and so much of this, you know, we can't leave science. We cannot. I know reading and math is crucial, but you know, we're not doing very well in the science. For math, like we said, right now our kids really need to see, if your kids, the ones that really struggled, make sure that you're targeting and spiraling over and over those items that Patty identified as being the items that are a little bit, I'm not going to say, well, like easier or, you know, that the students do best on. Those are the items that more than likely the children can grasp easier. Versus doing everything, nada le pegan, you know, hit those that, you know what, I know that my children can get this one if I do it over and over and they see it in different ways, you know, get the teaching. I always repurpose the Sharon Wells. Sharon Wells is awesome. You know, always go back to Sharon Wells, get it, don't use too much. I say you stick to like those things and that's it. That's my advice.
So
The
all
star
of these
release,
are in there?
of course, our Sharon Wells, and maybe
This.
like the teaching,
Oh,
and that's
this one?
it.
No, we're
Don't
missing
go
one.
too much,
Okay,
because
they're all
the more
here.
that we put in there, we get lost,
Look.
and we don't
This is fourth,
narrow
this
in
is
and
third.
target what we
Hang
need
on.
to. So we will be putting more items on here as we go.
This is Spanish.
If
They're
you
right there.
have items that you want to share, just like little structures or whatever that you're doing, we would really appreciate it. But we really want to thank you. If you have any questions, like the girls said, they are very willing and able to go. They have been going to campuses and sharing when you call them over. You know what? I need you to come over just to share this, or where, you know,
We're not
they
doing
will do it.
Access Finder,
We understand that it's a lot that y'all are dealing with right now, but we're here to help. Thank you so much. Any questions? Anything else?
That one's busy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Did
just
Susana
in the
Redondo
bottom.
dye her hair?
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
Have a great afternoon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
She's your friend.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Did she dye her hair? 'Cause it looks
Ooh,
darker.
say bye.
I'm replying. Thank you.
Bye.
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 I'm smiling too.
Bye, Metalet.
She's still talking on already. My job is done.
You're gonna be the last one in there
Sorry.
asking.
It's a question. Miss Bay. Miss
Hold on, Betty, don't go.
Betty.
Miss,
Betty's
I
name is
can't,
right to party too.
I'm gonna come to work tomorrow, but I'm gonna be gone maybe about an hour because I need to go to the doctor. You have to give me a shot and just, I'm just gonna go in and out.
Sounds like a plan.
¿Está bueno?
Yes, ma'am.